Hello, welcome back. So, there are a few things that I wanted to discuss with you guys. It's not a keep it real, it's just some things that I really want to talk to you guys about. I've been watching a lot of videos responding to the video by The Guardian. It's really caused a lot of uproar in the community, and I guess I wanted to tell you guys how I saw things in a little bit more of detail, but also tell you guys where I am in our community, where I fall in, and a little bit of why I'm here. Years ago, I've been on YouTube like 5-6 years. Years ago, I did tell a short, I've done it twice, with Caleb and with Elizabeth, just a short version of my story as to why I have these guys. But I didn't go, it was just like that part of it. It wasn't really me as a whole, why I'm in the community. So I guess first I want to talk about the video a little bit in detail. I've been seeing a lot of people who were kind of upset because they felt like they were showing the mental health / mental illness in the video, and that's really all they were showing other than Stephanie. I didn't get that impression. I even, after I've watched more videos, people talking about it, and I went back again for the 4th time, and I watched it again, and I cleared my mind, and I just went in raw and just was like, okay, maybe I'm just not seeing it. 4 times and I still don't see it. I felt like Kelly Girl, made it clear that she is a collector. She talked about Claire Taylor dolls, Claire Taylor as an artist. She made it clear that she worked. She made it clear that she had kids. She made it perfectly clear that she didn't have a mental illness or mental health at all. I did not get that impression. 4 times. I didn't get that impression, not once. Lucinda, as someone who also cannot have children, I didn't feel like she was representing mental illness in our community. I think that she is someone who cannot have kids and is not at the point in their life where they can foster or adopt. And she is using the dolls not only for her mental health with dealing with the fact she can't have kids, but Lucinda also is an artist. I don't know if a lot of you guys know that. Lucinda, like I said in my previous video, somebody I followed for years, I had one of her babies. My niece now has that baby that she painted. If you go and you watch her videos, you'll see she's an artist. And she is a reborn mom. So I did not see mental illness. I saw mental health and somebody who uses not only her love for dolls, but as just a painter and collector, but somebody who is also using it for mental health. Okay. Stephanie, 100%, in my opinion, represented the artist, the artistry. They showed her making videos. They showed her painting. They showed her talking about different countries and places that she shipped her babies. They showed her wife rooting. That would be the artistry part of it. And those are, I believe, the general places in our community. I don't think it showed mental illness, which would be people who have illnesses that won't go away, dementia, people with developmental disabilities like I work with, people with illnesses. I didn't see that. So I really do believe that it represented generally our community as a whole, other than this thing, as mental illness. I think that if you clear your mind, just clear your mind of your past opinions and watch it again. Yes, like I said, it could have been more detailed. It could have showed more, but it still represented 3 major parts of our community. It may not have been as detailed as we wanted it to be, but it still was there. And let's face it, okay? Not everybody is going to agree with what we do. Not everybody's going to like it, and that's okay. It's okay for them not to like it. It's okay for them to think it's weird. Who cares? Are you ever going to see these people? Doesn't matter. Because there are some people who understand it. There are some people that respect the artistry of it. It really is there. But not everybody is going to really understand it or like it. And that's fine. They have every right to not like it. The comments were some of them were a little over the top and very trollish. But there was others that were like, you need therapy and, hey, if that's what you think, whatever. But there's gonna be. That's in anything like My Strange Addiction. If you guys have ever watched that, there's the guy who is in love with his car and considers it like his significant other. I'm sure that video, I haven't looked, has plenty of troll stuff on it. But it's what he needs to do in his life. It's what he wants to do. It's fine. Who cares? So it's not just us. There's just going to be people in the world who don't understand, and that's okay. Who cares? But I did not see that. I just didn't. I didn't. I think that if so many people are upset about how this video didn't represent us as a whole, it didn't focus on the artistry and the collecting part of it, maybe everybody should try to contact someone else in that part of social media to represent us differently. Maybe you should make your own video. Maybe, there's so many different things. Instead of us just, complaining about it and how it wasn't as detailed as we want, then start making phone calls. Start writing, like Stephanie said in one of her videos, she's tried to contact Ellen, about the thing that she's going through. Why don't we do that? Why don't we contact somebody? There's somebody other than the Guardian. Why not contact them? See if they will do a legit video, one that we would be proud of. Why not? Because the Guardian did it, so I'm sure we can find somebody else who would do it, who would make a video like everybody wants. But you can't just sit there and complain about it and not do anything. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about the video. I'm done talking about it. Now I'm going to talk about where I am in the reborn community. I consider myself a little bit of everything when it comes to the reborn hobby. I do have I am a collector. I have had dolls through my life. My grandmother is a legit collector, not just of reborns, but dolls in general. She literally just displays them. The only one she ever even remotely dressed was my toddler, Porcelain. And she just did it for holidays. So it was like before Christmas, before Easter, before, she didn't like interact with it. She didn't put diapers on it. She literally like smacked a dress on it and put it back in the chair. She was a collector. She had a room with dolls that in fact, I think I did a video on it, that where they were behind, most of them were behind glass, literally just displayed them. I have, like I said, I still have some of my childhood dolls. So I am the collector part of it. I have in the last year started painting. So I'm in the artist part of it, the artistry part of it. I wanted to be an artist as a kid and was accepted to an art school at a very young age, which my mom said, no way. But it's always been an aspect of my life, and it's something that I have started. So I also represent or am part of the artistry part of it. And then there is the mental part of it that I am definitely a part of. I feel like there is a difference between mental health and mental illness. Mental health would be depression, anxiety, that sort of thing. Where it's something that you don't have all the time, and you use that, we may have it ongoing, but it's not I don't consider that a mental illness. I consider that mental health. You're just using it to keep yourself healthy, okay? Mental illness to me is something that will never, ever go away. You'll never have a cure for it. You will always suffer from it. You'll die with it. I am those things. I am both of those things. I have severe anxiety. I have severe, anxiety. I have just anxiety. I have insomnia and I have severe depression. Mental health. Okay. So like I have a social phobia. I have a hard time going out in public, and I do take them with me when I know it's going to be busy and I'm going to have a hard time. But I don't have that all the time. There's times where I'm able to go out and do things and I don't need them. But I am also bipolar. So I have a mental illness. I've always had it. It will never go away. There's not a cure for it. And I deal with it every single day of my life. There are times or weeks where it is worse, where I'm struggling, and it has threatened my life. So like I said, I'm literally every aspect, okay? I know that in responding, not just to that video, but you get the trolls where they're like, why don't you just adopt? Why don't you just foster? Get therapy. And I'm going to tell you why I don't adopt and foster. There's a couple reasons why I don't. And I'm sure that people wonder when you can't have kids why you don't do these things. I'm sure that everybody has a different reason. I have several. Okay. Money. I have spent 25 years dedicating myself to working with people with developmental and physical disabilities. I've also spent 25 years working for non-for-profit companies, which means I don't make enough money with what I do. I get punched, I get kicked, I get called names. I have had my hair pulled. I have been kicked in the ribs, etc., etc. I don't get paid. You'd be surprised, okay? I don't make enough. But this is where my passion is. I don't do it. I have to pay my bills, but I literally just am able to pay my bills. I won't get rich at this, and that's not why I do it. So I know that when you foster, you get a certain amount and that's fine, but that's not going to go as far these days. You've still got rent. You've got, if they get into, some kind of sport, et cetera, et cetera. So money is an aspect. It's I was married for 5 years in my 20s. After I found out that I could not have kids, I got a divorce, and I've not been married since. So as a single person, that would be very hard for me. I watched my mom raise me as a single mother. And I know even with her having, a fairly decent job, but it was just her. And I know how hard that was on her. I know how much dedication that took. And I also have to think about not only the child, but myself. The other thing that I have to worry about is with fostering, there's a chance that that kid will leave. There's a chance that that kid will go back to its parents or whatever. And I think that having a mental illness, that would just devastate me, especially if that child had been with me for a while. So I have to think about that, especially having a mental illness. I also, with, adopting, or really even fostering, with me having a mental illness, I have to think about what's going to happen when I'm having issues with my bipolar. Medication is not a cure for bipolar. It doesn't, keep the bad aspects of bipolar away all the time. Even my own mother thinks that. That the pills are a cure, and it isn't. So I have to think, if I adopt a child, they've had a hard life, obviously, because they, are being adopted. But then I have to think this child is going to have to then come in and have to watch me struggle with bipolar or even deal with it. And I'm bipolar 2, which means I am the depressive part of it. I'm the really severely depressive part of bipolar. I do have hypomanic episodes where I'm just really, really hyper and blah, blah, blah. But I, majority of the time, I'm going to go down to the depression part of the bipolar. So I have to think about that child and what, it'd be different if it was my own child and I was married and, or if that's all they had ever known. My mom has mental health problems, and I would have never guessed that until I got older and she told me, because it was my mom. Like, that's how she was, and I didn't think anything about it. So it would be different if it was my child and like my legit child and they didn't know anything else. But to take an adoptive child or a foster child and bring them into someone who has a mental illness, I don't think is fair for them. I also have to think about the physical aspects of having a child. Because I've dedicated the 25 years to mental and physical, people with mental and physical disabilities, physically, this job has really taken a toll on my body. So bad that I am almost at the point where I'm not going to be able to work anymore. So, and I always said if I adopted a child, I would want it to be an older child. I definitely cannot keep up with a baby or a toddler. It would be like a teenager. And even then, being in my late 40s and having all of the physical disabilities that I do have, I could not keep up by myself. So again, that's something else that I have to think about. So not only do I have to think about the kid that's going to be a foster or adoption, but I also have to think about myself. So just having the fact that I cannot have children is not my only issue. So this hobby, these babies are literally everything to me. They're all I'll ever have. I have been blessed to have a niece and nephew. I have been blessed to have 3 godchildren that I've seen, grow up to be wonderful women, and they're my heart. I've been very blessed to help raise a wonderful young man who's grown up to be a very wonderful young man, and a daughter, or I always call them my son and daughter. I've been blessed to help be a part of raising them. But they're not mine. And even if I adopt, I can't do that to a child. These babies are all I have. They're it. So please watch how you word things. You have to understand that we respect that there are some of you who are strictly just collectors. We understand that, and we have 100% supported you and been understanding. Okay, we understand it. We know you're there. But you have to understand that we are also here. And there are some of us that literally don't have an option. And that sometimes what you say hurts. And please go back and try and watch the video again in a different frame of mind. That's all I really needed to say. I hope that I explained everything okay. I hope that it will help you know me better. Sorry. And kind of, I guess, get you to maybe see a couple things differently. I appreciate you listening to me, and I will see you guys soon.